Hey guys, Dr. Jason Torado. How's it going? We are back. It's Monday. Today we are talking about the most important statistic that you should be focused on inside your practice. All right. So stick around. I want to go over that important statistic, and I really hope that you think also that you agree with me that it is the most important statistic inside your practice. So a lot of chiropractors think that the most important statistic in their practice is probably going to be money in, right? It's like money in. A lot of chiropractic coaches teach you that it's going to be something like PVA. PVA is like really, really important. What's your patient visit average? What is it? You got to keep that over a certain amount. Some chiropractors think that it's the amount of reactivations that you get, or maybe the number of new patients that you get in a month. Some chiropractors think it's also the number of visits that you do in a week. Other chiropractors focus on the amount of missed appointments, the amount of visits that you don't see during the week. Again, it could also be just, again, the money that comes in, the gross money. And then there's also some people, and that's the total amount of money that comes in. And some people think that it's also the net amount of money, right? That is the amount of money that comes in, after you pay all of your expenses, which would basically is also known as the net profit. Look, all those things are important, and I'm sure that there's a million more statistics out there that you could probably think of when it comes to a chiropractic offices, especially if you're talking, depending upon the chiropractic coach that you have, because every coach has their own little nuance and they all have these special statistics. And not that I'm getting hung up with Scientology, but a lot of times those programs are based upon statistics, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but they've got millions of statistics for like every single nuance inside your practice. You can literally go crazy, right? But here's what I think is the most important statistic that is inside your practice. So I want you to listen up. So the most important statistic, and this is a statistic that is just it's for growing practices, it's for beginning practices, it's for veteran practices, it's for any type of situation that you're in. I think that the most important statistic, whether you're a new practitioner or old practitioner, whether you're making $10,000 a month or whether you're making $60,000 a month, the one statistic that trumps all of the other statistics that I just said, plus the ones that you're probably thinking of right now that, knowing you're probably tracking, is going to be, big drum roll please, the number of patient referrals that you get every single month. That's the most important statistic. The number of patient referrals that you get every single month. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, really, the reason why I think that statistic is so important that I would even say that statistic is responsible for determining the health of your practice. I'm serious. I'm really serious about that. I mean, all these other statistics are vital. They're important. But the most important statistic, the statistic that best describes your practice, and is the number of patient referrals that you get every single month. Not only is it an important statistic that tells you the health of your practice, but that statistic also tells you what you need to do with your practice. Meaning if that statistic is low, well, then it literally tells you what you need to do with your practice. If your patient is not referring, then obviously, if you're not getting patients that are referring other patients into your practice, well, then you got a problem with that. Now, if you're a workman's compensation practice, if you're a personal injury practice, okay, throw all that in the garbage, right? Because you're probably getting referrals from attorneys. I totally get it. This doesn't apply. The statistic probably won't apply. plus getting a referral from another patient in a personal injury practice, probably going to be a little bit difficult. Not impossible, but it's probably going to be a little bit difficult. But everything else, cash practices, mixed practices, insurance practices, number of patient referrals you get every single month into your practice is going to be the most important statistic, right? Because, when a doctor focuses on patient referrals, just patient referrals, it literally puts them in the right mindset to be able to look at everything else that's going on inside your practice. And that could be, right? Because if you're not getting referrals in your practice, well, then it forces you, whether you like it or not, it forces you to look at the experience that you're offering your patients inside the office, right? And when I say experience, I mean like everything. I mean, like, what does your office look like? Does your office have pictures around it that say subluxation kills? Do you have pictures of beautiful Monets and beautiful landscape pictures around your office, right? Does your office floor look like it's completely ripped up, or does your office look like you've got beautiful carpeting, or you've got beautiful, ceramic tile or beautiful wood flooring? It forces you to look at the inside of your office. It forces you to look at the outside of your office. It forces you to look at your staff. What does your staff look like? It forces you to look at what you look like. So if you look like some overweight slob that smokes and likes to eat cheesy garlic bread during lunchtime, that's probably turning people off, right? Or if you're this chiropractor that's, in shape, you look good, you're perfectly shaved, you're perfectly dressed every single day, right? It's going to force you to look at that, right? It's going to force you to decide whether or not you should be wearing that golf shirt inside your office, or that dirty set of surgical scrubs, or are you wearing like a nice shirt? Perhaps a tie. It doesn't have to be. Are you wearing a white lab coat, a sharp, clean white lab coat, right? And again, you don't have to do that, right? But then again, those are things that work. They just work, right? Now, again, you don't have to do that, but I like to do the things that work, right? Because it prevents stress in my brain. And so you've got to look at the office appearance. You've got to look at your appearance. If you're 30 pounds overweight, 40 pounds overweight, that's probably going to be a problem for a patient to take your advice, on health, right? It's your physical appearance, your rapport. What are you saying to your patients? Are you literally trying to shove above, down, inside, and out into their brain? Or are you just taking them as they come and just giving them a short report of findings and letting them kind of do what they want and not trying to sell? I mean, are you trying to sell something to your patients? So the rapport and what your communication to your patient, right? The statistic forces you to actually take a look at what it is that you're saying. What are the results? Are you getting great results with your patients? If you're getting crappy results, well then you're not going to get patient referrals. How about the adjustment itself? If you've got this adjustment technique that is hurting your patients, then your patients aren't going to refer other patients. But if you've got this or is your adjustment technique the quick 3 to 5 minute adjustment that every chiropractor does that any patient can go to? Or is your adjustment technique something that's really specific that only you can do, and only your patient has to travel miles to be able to come and see you, and your patient travels past and drives past hundreds of other chiropractors to be able to come to your office because you've got this amazing technique? So that statistic forces you to look at the actual technique that you're using. The agreements that you have with your patients. It forces you to look at the agreements with your patients. All of these things. It forces you to look at what your staff is actually saying to your patients. Is your staff making it easy for your patients, or are they pissing off your patients? How about the transaction that takes place after the first adjustment at the front desk after they leave your adjustment area? Now they're talking to the front desk staff. Is your front desk person clear and concise and collecting the money? All those things, and letting your patient leave with a happy attitude. Is your front desk staff asking the patient, how was that first visit? Are you making sure that that patient leaves happy and satisfied from that first patient visit experience? Or do you not know what's going on? And how they feel, and what's going on inside their brain, what they're telling them inside their brain. Like, either, hey, that was an amazing visit, I can't wait to come back, or that was a horrible experience for me, I hate chiropractors, I hate this chiropractor, I don't want to come back. So that statistic forces you to analyze all of these things. You probably know how important already referrals are, right? You probably know how valuable patient referrals are inside your office. And I'm talking about valuable. I'm talking about like cash, like money wise. You probably know how valuable, right? Because a patient could come in, and through the lifetime value of that patient can be $500. It could be $5,000, right? It could be $50. It really depends on what you charge. But I know that the value of that patient referral, and because you probably have done marketing, and you've done Facebook marketing and Google advertising, and you know what it costs to go out there and advertise to be able to procure a patient. And so, look, I'm talking a lot. So when you focus on patient referrals into your office, all these things are things that get taken care of when you're focusing just on patient referrals, on that statistic. You'll realize that when you focus on that statistic, you'll realize you shouldn't be selling chiropractic. You shouldn't be over-educating patients. You shouldn't be selling them some crazy long-term care, because you know that you're going to end when you have to sell something, and you feel like a salesperson, it doesn't work. But when you've got patients, and you also know when that statistic is high, when you've got patients that are flowing in and they're coming in from patient referrals, man, that's a good feeling. You know for a fact that what you're doing is right. You know that your adjustments are right. You know that your office looks right. You know what you're saying is right. You know that you've got great agreements. With your patients, you know that your technique is spot on, because practice in itself is completely effortless. It's completely effortless when you've got new patient referrals coming into your office. And you know what? I want to help you. If you don't have that going on inside your office right now, if you're not getting at least 10 to 20 new patient referrals every single month, I'm not talking about Facebook advertising. I'm not talking about Google advertising. I'm talking about a solid 10, 20, even 30 new patient referrals coming inside your office from other patients. If you don't have that, then there's a sickness inside your office, and you need to go back, listen to this video again, and analyze what's going on inside your practice, where you've got this weakness, this gap, this something that's pushing away your patients from being able to refer other new patients, friends, family, loved ones inside your office. And you know what? If that's not happening in your practice, then I want to show you how. All you got to do is simply just shoot me a message that says new patients, and I'll get right back to you. That's it for today, guys. I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.